Oh, yeah. Is it Tuesday already? Wow, do we have some Star Wars news to talk about today, chat? The Mandalorian could be getting a trilogy, or if it bombs, we may never be getting another Mando project ever again. Also, there is two top secret shows going on behind the scenes. In talking about top secret, the CIA is now using Star Wars websites to spy on people? We got some crazy stuff to get into today. Asajj Ventress, Din Djarin, even Andor Season 2 has even more news. It's a wild time to be a Star Wars fan. It truly is. The news just keeps on coming. So let's dive into all of it. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing on this fine Tuesday afternoon? We got a very fun one to talk about today. Whenever we're talking Mando trilogy with the heir to the Empire, Grand Admiral Thrawn, Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, and Grogu, it's a good day. So, I don't even know where to start right now. Well, it seems like a great place to start. WUV Grab with a 5-month membership. I appreciate that quite a bit. Let's say hi to everybody in the chat, shall we? Okay, hang on. Why can't I? There we go. 50 Thunder, what is up? Brandon Baker in the house. B-Man, what is up? Chris, how we doing? Your pal Joe, what is up? Fearless in the building. Alex, what is up? Pipeline Podcast, what is up? Star Wars Santa, of course, in the house. 730 Evie, how we doing? Darth Plagueis lives, what is up? Navarro, how we doing? Ryan in the house. Trent, what is up? Steve, how we doing? If I missed you, you know the deal. Just yell at me in the chat. Let's give everybody a nice little,
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
Okay, so I really don't know where to start today. We got Mando news, we got Andor news, we got new shows, Asajj Ventress, and a secret show that's been going on behind the scenes for the last couple of months. I think we might as well start with the Mando trilogy stuff, because I feel like that's the most important, and I mean, a Mando trilogy, come on. We've been speculating about this the possibility of getting a Mando trilogy for years now. Since 2023 Star Wars Celebration, when they announced that Dave Filoni will be getting his own movie in the Mandoverse, we thought that that would be the beginning of the Heir to the Empire trilogy, or at least a canon version of the Heir to the Empire trilogy. Then the Mandalorian and Grogu movie gets announced about 7 months after that, and we're like, okay, we got 2 Mando movies, just 1 more to go, and we got a trilogy, because Star Wars doesn't work in 2s, it works in 3s. So we all assumed there was going to be this Mando trilogy, and we're going to actually get to see the Heir to the Empire be brought into canon in Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau's canon variation of that story. Now, things are becoming a little bit more real with the news we're talking about today. The possibility of the Mandalorian and Grogu movie getting a sequel, if it is a success, is what we're talking about right now. Because this news just broke. It's a rumor for now, so take it with a giant grain of salt, but it is just a rumor. It's coming from a couple very reliable sources, but it's still just a rumor, so it might not happen. However, with already the facts that we know that Dave Filoni's getting a Mando movie, and we're getting the Mandalorian and Grogu movie from Jon Favreau, it's highly likely that we will be getting a third to round it out into a trilogy. But now we actually have some oomph, an oomph to that to that theory of there possibly being a trilogy. So let's dive into it. But before we do, because I like starting out the streams with super chats, because super chats are fan-frickin-tastic. Jordan Rennie with a $5 holla says, a Grief Karga impression of saying Mando, please. Mando! Mando! Honestly, I know that's like impressions, whatever. Super chat, I appreciate it. Super chats memberships keep the lights on over here. And by the way, it's almost the end of the month, which first of all means my birthday's on Friday. But second of all means that we will be doing a giveaway on Thursday's live stream, because that will be the last. Oh, wait, what? No, there's 31 days in May. So Saturday will be the last live stream of the month, and we do giveaways at the end of every month for all the members, so watch out for that. But that reminds me, Grief Karga, Carl Weathers, sadly passed away. How are they going to deal with that character in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie? You guys tell me in the chat, because while you do, let's talk about this, okay? Let's talk about it. This is coming from Daniel RPK. in the latest and greatest of their podcast over there. As he says, a sequel to the Mandalorian and Grogu movie will be greenlit. It's not greenlit. It will be greenlit if the film is a success at the box office. Also mentioning that there will not be a season 4, or at least it's not planned yet. And if the movie does flop, then this will be the final chapter of The Mandalorian. Okay, so let's talk about this a little bit. First things first, do you want a Mando trilogy? I feel like that should be the first valid question, and I think we should start it up with a poll. What's better than a Tuesday with a poll, huh? Anything? Really? I don't... Anything? Not much. Not much. Okay, let's start it up with a poll. Do you think The Mandalorian will... Or let's say this. The Mandalorian and Grogu is the beginning... That's how you spell beginning. Of a trilogy. Yes or no? You tell me. Is this truly the beginning of a trilogy? What's going on here? Okay. Odd. You tell me in the poll. And tell me in the chat. You tell me. Greg, what's up? How we doing? Should have been a season ago? Oh, you mean it should have been a movie a season ago, like before season 3? Okay. No Mando trilogy? Okay. Yes, trilogy me up, baby.
I got a bad feeling about this.
No, thank you. I'd rather see just how the first one goes before we get 2 and 3. I get that, and that's sort of what this report is saying here. If it's not a success in the box office, then it's not going to be greenlit for a sequel. However, when we're talking about a sequel to the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, wouldn't that just be Dave Filoni's movie? What are we talking about here? I really don't get how this trilogy is going to work. I don't. Because right now, Dave Filoni is filming for Ahsoka Season 2. That's his priority right now. So Ahsoka Season 2 won't come out until late next year or mid to late next year, right? So with that, it seems likely that he's not going to start filming his Mando movie until at least next year. So where would this Mando and Grogu sequel even fit into this whole equation? I know, because Dave Filoni's a freaking genius, and he's talked about it before, that there are whiteboards and all this crazy greatness in his office that are connecting all these different things in a cohesive plan. What people said, the biggest flaw of the sequel trilogy, as many people will attest, is that there wasn't a plan. From the beginning, even if it was just J.J. Abrams' trilogy the whole time, there would be more of a cohesive story. The fact that there wasn't a plan from the get-go allowed them to bounce around, and that's what led to a lot of conflict amidst the fandom in terms of the sequel trilogy. So since that happened, since 2019, there has seemingly been more of a plan. Now, that plan has gotten wrenches thrown into it, like the firing of Cara Dune or the death of Ray Stevenson, now the death of Carl Weathers. So there's been some wrenches thrown into that plan that has to change the plan. I mean, there was a full show called Rangers of the New Republic that never happened because Cara Dune is no longer. So there's a lot of different things that might change the plan, but there is some sort of plan. In terms of a trilogy, I don't see the plan. I mean, maybe I'm missing something, but I don't see the plan. If you're going to just purely base the success of the Mandalorian and Grogu movie on whether or not you will create this trilogy, I mean, I guess that makes sense. What if everybody hates the movie and then you just have 3 box office bombs on your hands, which would not be an ideal thing, okay? That would not be ideal. However, they are bringing Din and Grogu to the big screen. You guys are freaking blowing me up with these ahs right now. It's really throwing me off, but I appreciate it. I'll get to the super chats in 1 second. The reason they're bringing Din and Grogu to the movie theater in the first place is because it's a guaranteed success. We've talked about this many times already in the year of 2025. But the reality is, Disney, as a company, is looking for guaranteed successes in Marvel, in Star Wars, in Pixar, in their animation. They're looking for guaranteed successes. Lilo and Stitch just came out this weekend. I mean, I guess it's kind of a guaranteed success because you have this hit movie from 20 years ago and you're remaking it into a live action one. Sure, whatever. Pixar, they're making a Toy Story 5, supposedly a guaranteed success because the first 4 were very successful. With Marvel, now they're bringing back Avengers movies, guaranteed successes. Not guaranteed, but as guaranteed as it comes with the title of Avengers. So with Star Wars, the return to the big screen with the most likely guaranteed success is Din and Grogu. It's the Mandalorian and the child that everybody has on their shirt right now. Look down. He is currently sitting on your shirt. Not mine, but yours. Okay, so the idea that we might not even get this trilogy just seems impossible to me because they're focusing so much on this Mandoverse. I get it. We're coming off the backs of Andor Season 2, and everybody's really high on that because it's one of the greatest shows of all time. I get that. But really, what's going on in the Star Wars universe, the focus is this post-original trilogy, pre-sequel trilogy time period. And that's the Mandoverse, as we've dubbed it, as the Star Wars fandom has dubbed it. So yes, Andor was great. You have stuff like the Bad Batch and obviously your Tales of the Stories, Tales of the Jedi, Tales of the Empire, Tales of the Underworld. Your Bad Batches, your Acolytes, that stuff that takes place outside of the Mandoverse. But when you look at the last 6 years of Star Wars content, you've gotten Mando Season 1, Mando Season 2, Mando Season 3, Ahsoka, Skeleton Crew, Book of Boba Fett, all these projects taking place in the same time period as one cohesive story. Setting up Luke Skywalker's Jedi Temple, setting up the galaxy at large with the New Republic and the heir to the Empire with Grand Admiral Thrawn. It's great. A trilogy, a prequel sequel trilogy, a pre-sequel sequel trilogy, a post-original pre-sequel prequel sequel trilogy, obviously, seems like a no-brainer. Not only could you tell the story of Luke Skywalker's Jedi Temple, tell the story of the heir to the Empire that fans love so much from Legends with Grand Admiral Thrawn, and maybe you could even throw in some Jorah Sabaoth, Mount Tantus, which you established in the Bad Batch, and throw in all this great stuff. Maybe even give us Mara Jade for all we know. It seems like a no-brainer. It could even make the sequel trilogy, possibly for many fans, a lot better. I know some of you just went, Mike, that's impossible, but I think there's a lot of ways to bridge the gap that would make it a lot better. In Andor Season 2, the Clone Wars have taught us that lesson time and time again, how to make stuff even better without giving content in that specific time period. So you tell me in the chat, do you want this trilogy? And this kind of makes sense. I mean, kind of, right? If it's not a success, why make a sequel, right? I mean, I guess. So a lot is riding on this Mandalorian and Grogu movie. I think it'll make well over $1 billion, hopefully closer to even 2. But it all depends on the content itself. It all depends on the movie itself, what it's about. Well, we kind of know what it's about, but not really. If the story's good, if the movie is good, it will make billions. It's Star Wars. We just saw the greatest thing happen over the weekend with Battlefront 2, which we'll talk about. But the Resurgence Day on Saturday, May 24th, will go down in history as we broke all kinds of records for active players on Battlefront 2. The power that the Star Wars fandom has to create something or make something a success is insane. So if The Mandalorian and Grogu is a good movie, there is no denying that it's going to be good. If it is good, there's no denying that it will be a success if it is good. Because the Star Wars fans will go watch it time and time and time again. I've watched the Andor Season 2 final 3 episodes at least 4 times now. And it's been 2 weeks. If there's a Star Wars movie out in the theaters, I'm going to go watch it 20 times. And I'm sure there's a lot of crazy Star Wars fans like myself that will do the same thing if the movie is good. That's, of course, always a big if. But great news for Star Wars fans who want more of Din and Grogu. I mean, maybe Din Djarin still dies in the first movie. It's one of my theories that I kind of really like a lot, is if Din Djarin makes the ultimate sacrifice and sort of brings the gang together to defeat Thrawn after Din Djarin dies to Thrawn, and gives Grogu more of a reason to fight. And yeah. Okay, we made it 15 minutes without me killing Din Djarin off, okay? It was long enough. Din Djarin could die in the first movie, setting up the next two movies. It would be craziness. But I really hope that this is not the last time we see, this is not the final chapter, as they're putting it here, of The Mandalorian. But a bomb is a bomb. A bomb is a bomb. No, Mike, don't kill Din. You know, I get you guys really like Din Djarin, okay? And I do too, okay? Don't get me wrong. Pedro Pascal, great. Din Djarin, fan-frickin-tastic. Father to Grogu, yes, okay? I get it. But you can't deny the fact that killing off Din Djarin in a way would be incredible. He already has 3 seasons of a television show. He's going to get his own movie. What if you kill him off as the catalyst, as the Phil Coulson of the Star Wars universe, to bring together the Avengers? Boba Fett, Luke Skywalker, Ahsoka Tano, the Ghost Crew, the New Republic, the Carson Tavas of the world, the Cobb Vanths, the Bo-Katans. He's friends with everybody. The first 3 seasons made Din Djarin friends with everybody. Bring them all together to defeat Grand Admiral Thrawn, to avenge their good pal Din Djarin, who dies in The Mandalorian and Grogu. You can't deny that wouldn't be incredible. You can't deny it. So tell me in the chat, do you want a Mando trilogy? Do you think Din Djarin will die in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie? And tell me in the chat. I got some super chats to get to here. This thing was blowing up over here. Let me check it out. Okay. Jordan Rennie with a very generous $5 holla says, what would make The Mandalorian and Grogu an instant success? I mean, the simple answer is if it's good. I mean, we just saw it with Andor. If content is good, it's happiness in the Star Wars fandom. We just got Tales of the Underworld, which was great. We got Andor Season 2, which was fan-frickin-tastic. We're getting a Fortnite Star Wars season with AI Vader. Everybody's back on Battlefront 2. It feels like the greatest time ever right now to be a Star Wars fan. I wake up in the morning with a giant smile on my face because I'm a Star Wars fan, and it's a fan-frickin-tastic time to be a Star Wars fan! May 27th, 2025, right now! It's awesome! So, if it's good, that makes it a instant success, as you put it. But I just hope they use The Mandalorian and Grogu almost as a catalyst, not by killing Din Djarin, maybe killing Din Djarin, but maybe not, as a catalyst to do the heir to the Empire. Like, Grand Admiral Thrawn's setup in Ahsoka was great. They brought him back to the main galaxy, but still, he hasn't done anything. He hasn't become the heir to the Empire. We have one scene in Mando Season 3 where the Shadow Council is talking about the return of Grand Admiral Thrawn. That's it. So we need the Mandalorian and Grogu movie and Ahsoka Season 2, because Dave Filoni at Star Wars Celebration said there's going to be a big old war in our Star Wars with Grand Admiral Thrawn versus Admiral Akbar and the Ghost Crew, etc. So we need the Mandalorian and Grogu movie to kickstart us off into this new empire led by Grand Admiral Thrawn. Because if this big old war is happening in the main Star Wars galaxy, well then the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, which takes place only moments before, I'm going to guess, only moments before Ahsoka Season 2, well then that would also involve that big old war that's happening. It's probably actually the beginning of that big old war. So Din Djarin actually might be a pretty big part of Ahsoka Season 2. Wouldn't that make sense? But I think Grand Admiral Thrawn, if he's not in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, this movie itself will at least set up his presence. Like, he'll be alluded to. He'll be probably even mentioned. It'll be like Palpatine in Andor Season 2. He's not in the movie, in the show at all, but he's alluded to a bit, and you can feel his presence all over it. So if that's how Thrawn is in The Mandalorian and Grogu, that would be fantastic. And it would perfectly set up Ahsoka Season 2. I hope that answered your question. I don't think it did, but, what are we going to do? I don't have all the answers. Darth Plagueis lives with a very generous $10 holla. Holy crap. $10 is very generous. Says Mando Trilogy is a must. Also, did you hear about the Andor nominations? Yes, we did. Or yes, I did. Sorry. We will be talking about them in a little bit here. We got a ton of stuff to get to, so we'll get to it. We'll get to it. But I appreciate the super chat. I really, really do. I really, really do. Jason, what's up? Somber Luna, how we doing? Jordan with another $5 haul. Holy crap. I was under the impression that Dave Filoni's film was going to be an Heir to the Empire film. I mean, yeah, to an extent. The Heir to the Empire trilogy that's in Legends is just that, a trilogy. So the Heir to the Empire is just the name of the first book. It's the Heir to the Empire, then The Last Command? Or is The Last Command last? Wait. What's the third Heir to the Empire book called? Somebody in the chat help me out. Is The Last Command the last one? I don't even know anymore. Somebody in the chat help me out. So, yes, I do think that Dave Filoni's movie is going to be Grand Admiral Thrawn, is going to be the Heir to the Empire type deal. But are they going to dwindle that whole entire story into just one movie? What do we think? Adam says, yes, Heir to the Empire trilogy, but no Mando? What? You're going to take the Legends trilogy, bring it into canon, and leave out the most important character? The easiest success, the guaranteed success, sorry. The Last Command. I said The Last Command. What's the third one? What's the third name? Okay, The Last Command is last. I get that. But what's the middle book called? Am I going to have to look this up? Grogu is the heir to the Mandalorians? That's probably true. You hate Mando? Oh my God. That's crazy. Filoni shouldn't call his movie The Heir to the Empire. The fan base is too toxic and they lose their minds because it won't be the same. Yeah. I don't know. Obviously, it's not going to be the same. I don't know. I feel like calling it The Heir to the Empire will make it more approachable from Star Wars fans. Like, people who aren't really interested might hear, oh, Heir to the Empire is being made as a canon variation of it, and then maybe they'll come around. I don't know. Maybe. Dark Force Rising. Thank you, chat. That was going to bug me all day. Dark Force Rising, yeah, is the second book of the trilogy. So making an Heir to the Empire movie would also mean that you'd have to make a Dark Force Rising and a Last Command movie. I do think we're getting a Mando trilogy, but it's not going to be anywhere close to what the Heir to the Empire story in Legends is about. The same way that Thrawn being brought from Legends to canon is the same character, but it's slightly different. Let me rewind and rephrase. Let me go to a different example here. Who's a different Legends character? That's brought into canon, I should say. I can't think of any other examples off the top of my head. But Legends things that are brought into canon change all the time. Now, the reasoning for that, well, one is the Heir to the Empire is very focused on Luke, Leia, Han, Chewie, Lando. That's not going to be the case with this canon version. Just because we don't have a 30-year-old Mark Hamill, 30-year-old Carrie Fisher, 30-year-old, I guess 35-year-old Harrison Ford to do the story, to tell the story with. So you'd either have to deepfake them or recast them, and even still, I don't think they would be a major part of the story. But the canon version of Heir to the Empire, however it plays out, is going to be vastly different from the Legends version, and that's immediately going to have a bunch of Star Wars fans going, I hate it, because it's different. For some Star Wars fans, they'll see it as two different stories and like both for different reasons, And for some fans, they just won't even be able to watch it. Just no, can't do it. So it'll have a reaction one way or another, but we'll see. We shall see. Darth Rakunar with a 9-month membership badge says December 18th, 2026. Oh, Dune. Sorry. Dune 3 is December 18th, 2026. Doomsday, Avengers Doomsday, and Ice Age 6 are also on that same day. Whoa. I shall sell my liver. Anyway, I want a Mando trilogy. Huh. Yeah, so if you guys didn't hear the Marvel news, there's the Avengers Doomsday that was supposed to come out next May, right alongside of the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, has been delayed all the way back till December of that year. So about 7 months it's been delayed. That's a great news for Star Wars fans. I think a lot of the reason that Solo, a Star Wars story, lost money is because it was competing against Infinity War. Avengers Infinity War is one of the biggest movies of all time because of the, 12-year lead up to it. And it was just this massive thing where, spoiler alert, Thanos kills half of the galaxy, and it's this whole just absolute insanity. But that really stole away the sunshine from Solo, a Star Wars story. And that lost money, but it didn't make a lot of money in the box office. So I think something similar could have happened with The Mandalorian and Grogu if Doomsday released a couple weeks before. It wouldn't have helped. It definitely would have helped because people would have gone to choose one or the other, and both movies probably would have hurt from that. So it's good for both movies, I think. Gives Doomsday more time to actually create a good movie. And then for the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, it doesn't have to compete up against that film. Actually, somebody mentioned this yesterday in a comment section. Somebody said, are we worried about the Mandalorian and Grogu having to compete up against GTA 6? And at first I thought that was a joke, but then I kind of thought about it. Maybe we should be. Because if you think about it, the Mandalorian and Grogu releases on May 22nd, 2026. GTA 6 comes out only 4 days later on May 26th. So, I don't know. Should we be concerned about that? People are going to stop whatever they're doing for at least a couple days to play GTA 6. Anybody who's going to be getting it, anybody who's been waiting for 15 years or whatever it's been to get that game, is going to stop everything they're doing to check it out. So it might affect it a little bit. Again, if The Mandalorian and Grogu is just this massive success and a great story, it'll still be fine. But it might actually take away a little bit from it. Yeah. There is always the opportunity or the likelihood that GTA 6 gets delayed again. But, you know. Yeah, but that's going to be crazy. Doomsday, Avengers Doomsday, Dune Part 3, and Ice Age 6 are all releasing on the same day. That's crazy. That is crazy. Even if this movie is not a success, I highly doubt it's the last time we see Mando. It'll probably be the last solo project if it bombs. I don't think it'll bomb, though. Seriously doubt it. Yeah. I don't see it happening. Jordan Rennie with a very generous $2 house says, I appreciate it. Mandy United with a 13-month membership. Holy crap. That's insane. Cole Rita with a 19-month membership. Just curious why we think Mando is the first of a trilogy instead of a setup/prequel. A setup for a trilogy? What do you mean setup? Setup for what? If you mean a setup for a trilogy, well, then that would make it 4 movies. The reason I think that the Mandalorian and Grogu movie is the perfect start to a trilogy is for fans who aren't watching the shows, it will not only be an introduction to Din and Grogu, but an introduction to what is going on. It's 5 years after, or whatever it is now, 7, 10, whatever. 10 years after the original trilogy. What's up with Luke? What's up with Leia? What's up with Han? Or better yet, what's up with the galaxy? The Empire has fallen. The Rebellion has taken control and has become the New Republic. What's going on? And I think the Mandalorian and Grogu, now that Din Djarin and Grogu are both working for the New Republic, will allow us maybe even see Coruscant, but allow us to see the galaxy and where it's currently at in terms of power struggle and Grand Admiral Thrawn as the heir to the Empire. So I think it'll be the perfect setup, almost like the Phantom Menace. Think about the Phantom Menace as a movie itself. It sets up the prime age, or I guess the downfall, of the Jedi Order. It gives you Palpatine's introduction, gives you Anakin's introduction, gives you Darth Maul, the return of the Sith for the first time in 1,000 years, gives you the introduction to Obi-Wan and Yoda's first appearance, or first chronological appearance, gives you new characters like Mace Windu. It's almost an introduction to all these different things. And then continues on with Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, etc. So I think the Mandalorian and Grogu movie has the opportunity to be the Phantom Menace, but even better, of this next trilogy. So I don't think it'll be a setup movie or a prequel movie to a trilogy, but it will be the setup. Yeah. Indeed. Wait, are we getting a GTA and Star Wars crossover? I doubt it. I seriously doubt that. I seriously doubt it. But here's what's going on, okay? Let's put a pin on this so we can move on to the next thing because we have 1,000 different things to talk about today. So the newest news in terms of a trilogy is that a sequel of the Mandalorian and Grogu movie will be greenlit if it's a box office success. Right now, there's no word of Mando Season 4, because I seriously doubt we'll ever get a Mando Season 4. And if the movie flops, this could be the final chapter, or will be the final chapter, as they put it here, of The Mandalorian. So that's pretty much all we know. I mean, we do know that Dave Filoni's getting a movie, so that's probably going to be the second in a third, or second in a trilogy. But think about it this way, okay? Just think about it. The Mandalorian and Grogu movie sets up everything. Sets up Thrawn, sets up just everything. Dave Filoni's movie gives us Luke Skywalker, Leia, Han, the Jedi Academy, gives us Grand Admiral Thrawn and maybe even Mount Tantus, and maybe even Jorah Sabaoth, maybe even the Project Necromancer, and explanations for all this Palpatine stuff. It gives us so much more than just the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, which is just a setup almost. It's like Attack of the Clones. Attack of the Clones gives you Dooku, gives you this whole clone army, this secret planet of Kamino, like it's this crazy cool in-between episode. And that might be what Heir to the Empire is, or what Dave Filoni's movie is, not calling it Heir to the Empire. Then there's the final movie. In the final movie is the big old battle. It's the Revenge of the Sith. It's the Return of the Jedi. It's the Rise of Skywalker. It's this big old battle at the end of the trilogy. Grand Admiral Thrawn gets taken down by, who knows, everybody. We'll see. But that's how I see this playing out. I think the Mandalorian and Grogu movie is a perfect setup for a trilogy, sort of like The Phantom Menace, sort of like The Force Awakens. Force Awakens introduces you to Rey, Finn, Snoke, Kylo Ren, with a bunch of question marks and mystery behind those characters. What's going on? What's going on with Luke and Luke? Why is he in hiding? What's going on with Leia and Han? Why are they broken up? All that stuff. It'll be the perfect setup. And then the next two movies will do as all trilogies do and give us a great climactic ending with the destruction of Grand Admiral Thrawn. So that's my take on this. I think this is great news. Obviously, if it bombs, it's terrible news. But if it's great news, because it gets a sequel if it is a box office success, and we will likely see a trilogy if the Mandalorian and Grogu movie is a success. And by the way, this poll in the chat right now has 66, nice, Order 66.
Execute Order 66.
66 of you, or 66% of you, sorry, that do say you think this will be the beginning of a trilogy. And I agree. So put that number up even more. Okay. Sounds perfect to you? Well, it sounds perfect to me too. Now let's talk about some super secret Star Wars projects that are coming out. So this was brought to my attention. This article we're about to read here is, I believe, at least 2 months old. Let me double check here. Or no, sorry, it's not 2 months old. This was posted on May 19th. Huh. Oh, okay. Hang on. So this news is about 2 months old, but this article is only about a couple weeks old. I see. Okay. Yes. 1 month, I guess. April 21st. Okay. Go away! I'm pressing the X on the corner. That means you're supposed to go away! All right. Whatever. I don't know why this person is here. Go away. Why do you put an X in the top right corner if the X doesn't close down the tab? What's going on here, chat? Okay. Let's start with this article. So, we're talking 2 super secret Star Wars projects that I think, well, one I definitely know is happening, and the other one I think probably 92% sure that this is definitely happening. Okay? So this first article is about confirmed and rumored TV series that are releasing after Andor Season 2. So we had a full live stream sort of talking about this. What's next? We got Ahsoka Season 2, and that's it for live action shows. We got a Maul series. We got the Mandalorian and Grogu. We got Dave Filoni's movie. We got a Dawn of the Jedi movie. We got a bunch of movies. But what's next? Confirmed and rumored. So take a look at this. We're not going to read the whole thing, but I want to get to the specific one that I'm looking for. Visions Volume 3, that's of course later this year. Does it have a specific release date? Yes, October 29th of this year. Young Jedi Adventures Season 3, that's sure, later this year. Maul Shadow Lord, now we're getting into 2026 here. That'll happen in 2026. The Ninth Jedi, also in 2026. Ahsoka Season 2, 2026. Now here's where things get really interesting. Like I mentioned before, Ahsoka Season 2 will be the final live-action Star Wars project, at least the final one that has been announced. Give me a 1 into the chat if you've heard of this. Carlton and Nick Coos show, Star Wars show. This was announced, or at least rumored, over a month ago. And it was lost in the sauce, as the young, cool, hip kids like to say. It was lost. Nobody talked about it. Now, the reasoning for that is because, well, just insanity was happening at the time. You had Star Wars Celebration. You had the announcement of Tales of the Underworld. You had Andor Season 2 beginning. It was chaos. But amidst the chaos, this news was swept under the rug. And it's far more important than anybody is giving credit to. Because it's some secret show going on in the backgrounds at Lucasfilm that nobody's talking about. Including myself, because I didn't even know about it until a couple days ago. So, let's get into this. According to this report, which we're going to read in a second, Lost showrunner. So if you've seen the show Lost, Carlton Coos is teaming up with his son, Watchmen writer Nick Coos. Is it Coos? Coos? I'm going with Coos. Okay. For a Star Wars Disney Plus series that is in early development. So let's read the article. It's coming from The Hollywood Reporter, one of the best sources. This was, by the way, the thing that I can't X out of. I don't know why. I don't know why. Go away, please. Whatever. We'll leave it there for now. Star Wars series from Carlton Coos and Nick Coos is in the works. Yeah. Prolific Lost showrunner Carlton Coos, I don't even know, is taking a journey into the Star Wars galaxy with his son, Nick, at his side. The duo is in early development on a Star Wars series for Lucasfilm. Sources tell The Hollywood Reporter. Carlton's lengthy credits include Bates Motel, never heard of it. Actually, I think I've heard of it, but I've never seen it. The Strain, Jack Ryan, which I also have not seen. Oh, well, I've seen the movie Jack Ryan. Is it the show or the movie? Might be the movie. And Netflix's recent release of the medical drama Pulse. Never seen that either. Nick worked with his father's Lost co-writer Damon Lindelof on Watchmen and The Leftovers. And his credits also include Station 11 and Masters of the Air. So details of this Star Wars project are being kept under wraps. We'll continue this in a second. So they're getting a father and a son duo, to come to Star Wars, and they're currently developing a Star Wars series. Now, this brings me back to the question that was asked to Dave Filoni at Star Wars Celebration, and that was, what's next for live-action Star Wars shows? It's the biggest question on everybody's mind. The Andor Season 2 just ended. The only other show is Ahsoka Season 2, and that's next year. So after that, we got nothing. However, Dave Filoni's answer to that question is, of course, we got a bunch of stuff working behind the scenes that we can't announce right now. I can't say anything, but we got some stuff cooking behind the scenes. And this might just be one of them. One of many. Now, the next Star Wars Celebration is not till 2027. I think at least one live-action Star Wars show will be announced before then. Probably at a D23 or, I don't know, some investors meeting or whatever it is. They're not going to wait until 2027 to announce a live-action show. There has to be one after Ahsoka Season 2, and it would have to be announced long before the end of 2026. So, this could be the show that gets announced, or it could be another one, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But with the discography of these two fine gentlemen, it seems like this could be a pretty good show. Now, we don't know when it takes place in the timeline. We don't know what it's about. We don't know who's in it. We don't know if it's new characters, old characters. We don't know. We have no idea. But when you got two guys of this caliber working on a Star Wars show, it gets people excited. It's like when you bring on Jon Favreau to do The Mandalorian, or John Watts even to do Skeleton Crew. Skeleton Crew had nothing going for it except for the fact that John Watts was making it and that it was Star Wars. Because everything else was kept a secret. Everything else was like, oh, it's just a kid show. But because of a name like John Watts, people went to see it and they were like, oh my God, this is actually really good. Same thing with The Mandalorian. So names like this bring people to shows and hopefully make shows really, really good because they have a great track record with their former projects. But let's keep going. This news comes on the eve of Andor Season 2's debut. Another reason why this news was kept under wraps, or at least was lost under the radar. Because it comes right on the eve of Andor Season 2, so all I was thinking about that night was just Andor Season 2, and it follows right after Star Wars Celebration in Tokyo. This is over a month old, but that's why it was lost in the sauce. I like that saying. Where Lucasfilm unveiled the first look at features like the Mandalorian and Grogu movie and revealed its title for Sean Levy's Ryan Gosling Star Wars Starfighter. The company also revealed new details on Ahsoka Season 2, including the return of fan favorite Anakin Skywalker actor Hayden Christensen for Season 2. After putting Disney Plus on the map with early breakouts like The Mandalorian in 2019, Lucasfilm and sister Disney brand Marvel Studios has slowed development on their TV shows in recent years. In the heady days of the streaming wars, new shows from both brands were announced with regularity, whereas the more measured approach means the potential Coos show with Nick and Carlton is the first live-action Star Wars series to come to the public's awareness in some time, because Ahsoka Season 2 was announced a long, long time ago. So since then, there hasn't been any live-action Star Wars shows that have been announced, and this could be the first one in a long time. Carlton Cuse is repped by WME. What Mike eats. Where Mike eats. Maybe I'm just hungry. Oh, it's okay, sure. Yeah. That's what I was, yeah. I'm hungry. Okay. Is anybody else hungry now? Anybody got some death sticks? No. So what they're talking about here is how a couple of years ago, they were announcing projects left and right, specifically for Marvel. I mean, as much as I am a Marvel fan, you got projects like Miss Marvel, Secret Invasion, She-Hulk, like those. What are we doing? You know, what are we doing? They had big wins like Loki or Hawkeye or WandaVision. Those are all great, but you had a lot of misses. With Star Wars, they have more hits than misses, I would say. With The Mandalorian, with Andor, with Skeleton Crew, with, I guess you can't really call Skeleton Crew a hit because of its numbers, but even still. With Ahsoka, the weirdest part about it, though, is that Star Wars, along with Marvel, have slowed down. I get it. They want quality over quantity. But in terms of Star Wars versus Marvel, Star Wars never really picked up momentum as Marvel did. Because Marvel was releasing like 10 projects a year. Star Wars has been around that same 1, maybe 2 live action shows a year, an animated one, and then maybe a short. So like 4-ish projects a year. And then, of course, you have your other side projects like video games and comics and novels, etc. But it was usually like 4 or 5 major things happening in a year for Star Wars content for the last 6 years. You have shows like Mando Season 3 and Ahsoka with Bad Batch Season 2 in the same year. And that's it. And then you have some other stuff in that year. But those were the big 3. So Star Wars never ramped it up to the point that Marvel did. But now it seems as though both companies are taking a step back to slow it down. For Star Wars, it makes a little bit more sense because we're going back to the movie theater. So we're going to be getting at least a movie a year for the foreseeable future. The Mandalorian and Grogu movie next year. The following year is Star Wars Starfighter. The following year, probably the Rey movie or Dawn of the Jedi or Dave Filoni's movie, etc., etc., etc. So it seems like Disney Plus live action shows for Star Wars may slow down, but I don't think they should. Maybe not 2 a year, but at least 1 a year. I don't know. You guys tell me in the chat. Should Star Wars stop making live action shows on Disney Plus? I don't think so. We got great stuff coming out, churning out left and right. I mean, we just came off the backs of Andor Season 2. How could you want to stop that? It's a great way to format Star Wars. You get to spend so much more time in this universe. It's so much better. Tell me what you think in the chat. But that's pretty much, I saw something I want to talk about in the chat. Skeleton Crew was a W show. It's how I found the channel in the first place. Well, we like to hear that. But yes, Skeleton Crew is severely underrated. The other one, did you mention that Rian Johnson basically confirmed his trilogy is on hold? We talked about that on Saturday. So yes, Rian Johnson is talking about how he'd love to come back to Star Wars. But yeah, his trilogy was announced 10 years ago or 8 years ago. I don't think it's happening anytime soon, if ever. But Rian Johnson coming back could be a possibility. But going back to this, on a scale of 1 to 10, like how exciting is this news? From the creators of Lost, Bates Motel, Jack Ryan, The Watchmen, father and son duo of a lot of writing talent and success coming to Star Wars in this super secret early development Star Wars Disney Plus show. Where are we at? And what would you want it to be about? Because when we look to the future, when we look to what's coming next in Star Wars, I have no idea what's going to happen. The Mandalorian or the Mandoverse is going to have some sort of end cap to it. I mean, the end cap to it is technically The Force Awakens, but still, with a Mando trilogy, that's likely going to be the end of this time period until they fill it all out. Probably a Luke Skywalker Jedi Temple show maybe after. But look at the time period between the prequels and the originals. You have the Bad Batch. You have Tales of the Underworld, Tales of the Empire, Tales of the Jedi, the Kenobi series, Solo, a Star Wars story, Rogue One, Andor Season 1, Andor Season 2, Star Wars Rebels. I just named 11 projects. The timeline, Jedi Survivor, Jedi Fallen Order. The timeline is very filled out in between those 19 years. There's about 30 years in between the originals and the sequels, and that timeline needs to be filled out. The Mandalorian is just the start. all these Mandoverse projects are just the start. But once this time period is filled out, where do we go next? Do we go to the Dawn of the Jedi, to the Old Republic, or do we go post Skywalker saga? Because from the looks of it, they might be doing a little bit of both, but from the looks of it, the majority is post sequels. Star Wars Starfighter with Ryan Gosling and Sean Levy is post sequels. A Rey movie, post sequels. The rumor is that Simon Kinberg's trilogy, post sequels. But where do you want to go? Where do you want to go? From 2006 to 2015, we only had Rebels. No, that's when the Clone Wars was coming out. Clone Wars was from 2008 to 2012. And then, 2013, 2014 was Rebels. Yeah. Yeah. An Obi-Wan Kenobi, Qui-Gon, and Satine animated show, that would be more of a short, Fill out the past first and then the future. Okay. I think they're probably going to do a little bit of both. Just a little bit of both. Mike, are we doing a rewatch party of one of the shows soon? We'll definitely do that with the members, but we'll see. Not currently, no. So let's actually put this up in a poll because I'm interested to see what you guys think. And by the way, I want to end this poll anyway. So 62% of you do think that the Mandalorian and Grogu movie will be the beginning of a new trilogy, which I agree with. But let's put this up in a poll. Where should Star Wars go next? And by next, I mean after all is said and done. Before the Skywalker saga or after the Skywalker saga? Tell me in the chat. Before or after, and why? I get before already has so much story being told. You have so much Legends content over there. It's insane, from the Dawn of the Jedi to the Old Republic. You got just a gold mine of already instant successes, guaranteed successes, if you will. With a post-sequel world, you have more room to maneuver, I guess. You have less expectations because you can do whatever you want. And really, nobody's going to say boo about it. You could bring in Abeloth, which you're setting up currently in the Mandoverse, as a main villain for a post-sequel world, which would be insanity. But I feel like the majority of people are going to say before. And right off the bat, the poll is already 70% of you saying before. I think a little bit of both won't hurt. But yeah, the Old Republic, people immediately just think of their time playing the Old Republic games or just reading the Dawn of the Jedi comics or whatever it is. There's a lot of already established pre-Skywalker Saga Legends material that fans already have a connection to. So I understand that. But it feels to me that they're setting up a post-Skywalker Saga world with possibly Abeloth as the main villain, with a possible Simon Kinberg trilogy and brand new stories, brand new characters in a brand new universe, which is cool. Both are cool. Almost, I'd say Old Republic is a little bit more cool, but getting the future of the Star Wars galaxy is always a good thing. Let's put it that way. Star Wars is one big universe that has over 25,000 years of content to make. True. That's why it's a great time to be a Star Wars fan, because there's no lack of Star Wars content on the way. People think that when the Mandoverse is over, everything is over. Star Wars is done. We made it. No. There's 25,000 years of Jedi lore before the Phantom Menace. And that's just Jedi lore. I mean, the galaxy continues before that, but let's just say 25,000 years. If you really look at the Skywalker saga, correct me if I'm wrong, or somebody help me out in the chat, actually. I don't know the specific day or year. But is it not only 70 years? Hang on, let's do some quick math, okay? Phantom Menace to Attack of the Clones is about 10 years. So you got 10 years there. It's about 3 more years of the Clone Wars, 4 more years, let's say. Let's just give it a nice round number, 15. It's not round, but it's close enough. So 15 years for the prequel trilogy. You're talking 20 years for a nice round number. Till the original trilogy, that's 35 years. Then let's give it 5 years, being generous for the original trilogy. That's 40 years. Like how my math is mathing. Then you got about 30 years till the sequels, and the sequels take place all in the same year and a half. So that's 71 years. 72, to be generous. 72 generous years of the Skywalker saga. 72! That's it! We have this whole galaxy of storytelling to have had, and we've only spent time in this same 70-year time period. There is 25,000 years before it, and an infinite amount of time after it. So we've spent hours upon hours, days, months, years of time in this little time period in the Star Wars galaxy. There is so much more storytelling to be had, before and after. So it'll be very interesting to see how the future of Star Wars content goes, what this possible Carlton and his son Nick, what that show could be about. Could it be the first Old Republic show? Could it be the first post-sequel show? Only time will tell. Only time will tell. I miss AT-ATN. I miss AT-ATN too. Skeleton Crew has not gotten a season 2 yet, but what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Oh my God, Jordan with a very generous $20. Holy crap. Feeling extra generous today, Jordan. I appreciate it. Says, I want another Andor style quadlogy. Well, for my own sanity, I have to say absolutely not. But that's just, for my own health and well-being. The Star Wars fan of me says, yes, give me like 10,000 more. I liked how the Andor quadlogy worked. I liked that it was 3 episodes. It worked very well in the 3-episode arcs, but I don't see that working anywhere else. Like, it wouldn't have worked in The Mandalorian. It wouldn't have worked in any of the other shows that we've received from Star Wars. Andor is one of a kind. It really is the only one that works that way. And it's the way that Tony Gilroy, of course, wrote it to work. But I don't see it happening again. Like, the next show is currently Ahsoka Season 2. Ahsoka Season 2 is going to be a week-to-week show. It's not going to be big chunks at the same time. So I'd love an Andor-style show again, but not... I don't think the release schedule works as well, Yeah, no. Anthony says, hey, Mike, I don't know about this stream. Is it true that our beliefs, hopes, and theories were correct, and there will be a Mando trilogy? Bryce Dallas Howard could be doing the 3rd film? I'd love to see Bryce Dallas Howard get a movie, that's for damn sure. But I feel like John and Dave are probably going to do the entire trilogy, like team up and just continue the trilogy. But has it been confirmed? No. But we did get a lot more backing behind our hopes and theories. That's for damn sure. Skeleton Crew movie trilogy? No. But I do think the Skeleton Crew cast and crew, or at least the characters involved, will be involved with the Mandoverse movies, sorry. The Mandalorian and Grogu movie, they might not appear in that movie specifically, but AT-ATN might. And then I think the characters themselves could make appearances in Dave Filoni's movie, or maybe even in Ahsoka Season 2. AT-ATN has definitely been established to be something way more important in the future storytelling. Wim strikes back. That'd be nice. I'd love to see Wim join Luke Skywalker's Jedi Temple. Why not? Technically, AT-ATN was last mentioned in a journal in the newest update of Outlaws. Wait, what? The new Outlaws DLC has a mention of AT-ATN? That's pretty cool. I like that. That's pretty cool. Fern actress can be cast as the new... has been cast as the new Buffy the Vampire Slayer reboot. I didn't even know they were doing a Buffy the Vampire Slayer reboot. I didn't even know that. That's pretty cool. Okay, but that's the news on the first super secret behind the scenes Star Wars show being in early development with creators Carlton and his son Nick Coos, who they've both they worked on, I guess, respectively, Lost, Bates Motel, Jack Ryan, and of course Watchmen with Damon Lindelof, who used to be the writer of the Rey movie. But that is the first super secret show that's in development. The second one doesn't have as much, I guess, validity to it. It's more of a theory of mine, but a good one. Tales of the Underworld set up Asajj Ventress to have a Padawan and to go off and tell some more stories with, setting up something later down the line. Now, it will not be the next animated show, because we know the next animated show will be the Maul Shadow Lord, which will be great. Maybe Ventress is involved in that, possibly, but Jordan, I'll get to that in just 1 second. But an Asajj Ventress show, whether it be live action or animation, probably more likely animation, but Asajj eventually has to come to live action with the Mandoverse, if she survives that long. But an Asajj Ventress show seems to be, as Thanos would put it, inevitable. And here's why. Not only did they set it up with the Tales of the Underworld, but Lucasfilm themselves, StarWars.com, just posted this today? Yesterday? Hang on. Today? Today! They just posted this today. But I have to leave you on a cliffhanger because Jordan sent in the super chat. Hang on. Jordan with a very generous $10 holla. My God. Says, okay, you get to pick up one legacy character, or you get to pick one legacy character to make a project with, in one genre style of the project for a non-legacy character. Hang on. One legacy character project in one genre style of a project for a non-legacy character. What character for the first project and what genre for the second project? Oh, okay, I get you. So it would be like Andor and then a genre for a non-legacy character. Well, Andor is now a legacy character, but I mean before. And then a legacy character. If I were to make a legacy character project of anybody, just off the top of my head, what just immediately came to mind was a General Grievous origin story. That would be great. Palpatine. It's always got to be Palpatine. Young Palpatine show, multi-seasons. First couple seasons are him getting trained by Plagueis, killing his family, killing Plagueis, training Maul. Oh, it'd be so good. For a non-legacy character to get a genre, how about a... Now bear with me here. A spy thriller like Andor. No. How about a murder mystery? Okay. Murder mystery for the Max Rebo band. So you get Max Rebo, you get Droopy McCool, you get the band together, and there's some sort of murder, and they're all suspects. I mean, who's not watching that show? Be honest. Who's not watching that show? Babu Frick. Babu Frick would be a good one, too. That'd be a good one. JC, what's up? Yeah, young Palpatine has to be the legacy character. Yeah. I mean, he doesn't have to be, but he's definitely top of the list for me. Yeah. Indeed. Rose with a very generous $5 holla says, chillin' trivia. Okay. The opera song that Dedra listens to in the apartment in episode 7 of season 2 is called the Gorman Aura. Aurea? Sure. In episode 7, the Empire plans Gorman's demise. No way. Is it really called that? She's listening to a Gorman opera while she's planning the destruction of Gorman? That is ruthless. That's crazy. That is crazy. Max survives a third assassination attempt. No, he's maybe the murderer. That's the crazy twist. It's like one of them did it. one of the band members of the Max Rebo experience. One of the band members is the one who murdered somebody, and we don't know who it is. It's like Knives Out, but with Max Rebo band in Star Wars. Yeah. I've got a question. Can we just get George Lucas's Star Wars Underworld show? And it just includes new characters and legacy ones? I mean, I think what we're seeing now is a lot of that being worked into other stuff, like The Mandalorian or Tales of the Underworld. I think a lot of that stuff has already been sort of brought into the Clone Wars and other stuff like that. I'd love to still see it, but I think it's been, gone away. Yeah. Okay, now let's get to this. So, StarWars.com posted this today. Who is Asajj Ventress? So right after she walks off into the sunset with a new Padawan in Tales of the Underworld, now they're writing full-on articles about explaining who Asajj Ventress is to the normie fans who either have no idea who she is or know some stuff about her but don't really know much or want to know more. This is exciting. Listen to this, okay? 2 red lightsabers ignite in the dark with a snarl that is with unmatched fury. The assassin strikes. Who was she before wrath consumed her, and who will she become? So this is just sort of, I guess, the whole history of Asajj Ventress. We'll skip through a lot of it. But Tales of the Underworld, of course, gave a lot more to it. She was a Night Sister, became a Jedi, falls to the dark side, becomes the Sith assassin to Count Dooku, and then eventually comes back to the light, becomes a bounty hunter, falls in love with Quinlan Vos, dies sacrificing herself to save Quinlan Vos from Count Dooku, comes back to life in Tales of the Underworld, and now we see her with a Padawan. She also was in the Bad Batch Season 3. So that's the Asajj Ventress story in about 30 seconds. Okay, continuing. Originally conceived as a possible villain for Attack of the Clones. I didn't know that. Interesting. This right here is concept art for Attack of the Clones. Imagine we got Asajj Ventress instead of Count Dooku. That'd be pretty crazy. Created the striking figure, Dermont Power, created the striking figure for the dark side Force user who became Asajj Ventress. Hang on, we got a super chat. Hang on! Jordan Rennie with a very generous $5 holla. Jordan, you're insane. Says, I solved it. It was Max Rebo with the piano in Jabba's palace. He killed somebody with the piano? Okay, now that it's so rudely interrupted. Just kidding, I appreciate it. The Fierce Fighter made her first appearance on screen in the 2003 Clone Wars 2D micro series. Give me a 1 into the chat if you've seen that. The Tarkovsky Clone Wars 2003 series. Some people still say today that is better than the Clone Wars series that we have. I completely disagree, but it is a fun watch. It is a kind of fun watch. Where she made an instant impression on audiences and Jedi alike. That's her first actual appearance, although that Clone Wars series is now Legends. Asajj Ventress's first name was suggested by Lucasfilm's Leland Chi as a homage to the character of the 1957 Akira Kurosawa film named Asajj. I didn't know that either. As for the surname, former Lucasfilm senior manager Samuel Splittail, says she's named after the town Ventress in Louisiana. Okay. Anybody live in Louisiana? Anybody been to Ventress? Okay. I wanted a word reminiscent of Mary Valvue, the Voodoo Queen, and Asajj Ventress fit the bill. There you go. That's how the name came up with it. Asajj Ventress featurette. Oh, for the Clone Wars. Then we get her backstory, which I just explained to you, but I want to get to the good stuff here. Clone Wars, blah, 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 blah. Her own path, choice better, blah, 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 blah. This is Dark Disciple novel, all the good stuff. This was the Bad Batch Season 3. This is Tales. Okay. Here's where it gets good. Reborn through the Night Sister magic, Asajj Ventress began her new life on her own terms. When the Bad Batch, a group of unusual clone troopers who were fighting to find their own place, in the galaxy after Order 66, discovered one of its members might have a high midichlorian count, that would be Omega, Fennec Shand sends Asajj Ventress to answer their questions. Asajj easily finds the fugitive troops and agrees to test Omega for force potential, while Wrecker, Hunter, and Crosshair understandably had trouble trusting the former Separatist assassin. Asajj Ventress offers to help. Actually, I never really thought of that. I guess I did, but I really didn't. When they fight in the show, there's really this whole backing of these two were fighting on opposite sides for years in the Clone Wars. Okay, never mind. Sorry. Sidetracked. Where was I? Asajj offer to help was genuine, and Omega asked them to get English chat to give them a chance. Asajj Ventress completed the young clone's test and informed her brothers that she has no force abilities, but suggested that the Bad Batch leave their home of Pabu soon. She departed, resuming her journey through the galaxy, and that's where we end up seeing her in Tales of the Underworld. Now, interestingly enough, come to find out, no, Omega does not have any force abilities, but she has this very interesting ability, let's put it. She is the only one, at least that Palpatine has found, in the entire galaxy that can transfer midichlorians from one host to another. She is the key to his Project Necromancer, the key to everything, which is just insanity. Okay, so then we get her in Tales of the Underworld. So where does she go on next? Only time will tell. What is the purpose of all of this, chat? What's the purpose of writing this whole entire article telling us about Asajj Ventress, saying that the what's next for Asajj? Only time will tell, giving us Tales of the Underworld that ends with this scene right here, where these two are walking off into the sunset together, master and apprentice seemingly, both with lightsabers, both with the Force, both going off on some crazy adventure. What is the purpose? What's going on? The Bad Batch, I missed that show. I know. Might be time for a Bad Batch rewatch. But do we think that an Asajj Ventress show is on the way? Now, the only reason I don't think so is because of the Maul series. That's it. This Maul Shadow Lord that was just announced a couple weeks ago at Star Wars Celebration, that's going to be our next multi-season live-action show, not an Asajj Ventress one. So what's the purpose of setting up Tales of the Underworld to have Asajj go off with a new Padawan? What's the purpose of telling this whole backstory for Asajj? Where does she come next? Oh my God, Joe, I didn't even think about that. What if Ventress is in Tales of the Jedi 3? The only problem with that is that Tales of the Jedi 3 is not for a long time. That third installment for Cal Kestis isn't coming for at least a couple more years. So let me put up a poll in the chat here. Let me put up a poll. Where do you think that Star Wars should go next? By the way, 56% of you say before. Wow, that's actually way closer than I thought. Okay, let's put this up. Do you think Asajj Ventress will get her own show? Yes or no? Will Asajj Ventress get her own series? Because, like we talked about earlier, that time period between the prequels and the originals is very filled out. I know we're getting a Maul series, which is going to fill it out even more, but we had 11 projects from Andor to Rebels to Kenobi to Bad Batch, etc. What more can we tell? Obviously, a Maul series, that's got to be great. Underworld, Bounty Hunters, all that stuff. Maybe Asajj Ventress is just too many S's. Maybe Asajj Ventress is just going to be in the Maul series, and that's what they're setting up there. Maybe we get Darth Maul and his apprentice, Darth Talon, possibly, versus Asajj Ventress and her new apprentice. Both former Padawans of the Sith, or Sith assassins, I guess, acolytes of the Sith, both former acolytes of the Sith with their new apprentices going head to head. Now that would be awesome. That wouldn't be getting her own show, but it would be having a big part in the Maul series. Because think about it this way. The Maul Shadow Lords show doesn't have good guys to root for. As much as I love Darth Maul, he's not a good guy. He's not, clearly. So with the Clone Wars, you had, of course, Anakin, Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, Padme, etc. With Rebels, you have the Ghost crew. With the Bad Batch, you're rooting for Clone Force 99 like no other. You're always rooting for the good guys. With Maul Shadow Lord, a show that takes place in this time period where Maul is a villain and there's really no ifs, ands, or buts about it, who are you rooting for? Well, what if the person you're rooting for is Asajj Ventress and her new found apprentice? Could Tales of the Underworld really just be the setup to the Maul series? Could be. Now, if we talk further down into the future, talking about Asajj Ventress possibly coming to live action someday. First things first, tell me in the chat, do you want Asajj Ventress to come to live action in the Mandoverse? Yes or no? She has so many connections to so many of these different characters. Not only has Grand Admiral Thrawn just returned to the galaxy with a whole army of Night Sisters, and Asajj Ventress is a Night Sister on Dathomir, her home world, but Asajj Ventress has this wild history with Ahsoka Tano. Now, currently, Ahsoka is in a different galaxy on Peridia, but eventually she has to return, right? Either way, she has this history with Asajj Ventress, and seeing the two of them, with Ahsoka Tano, and seeing the two of them on screen together in live action would be incredible. It would be perfection. But then that raises the question, who's going to play Asajj Ventress in live action? I see a lot of you in the chat definitely want her to be in live action. What do we think? Could the Maul series be setting up Jedi 3? I definitely think the two could be connected. Yeah. For sure. Natalie Portman as live action Asajj. Who says no? I think everybody. She's already Padme Amidala. I still don't understand the whole Quinlan thing with Asajj. Have you read Dark Disciple? Have you read the Dark Disciple novel? Should we read that article? Hang on, let's see. Let's see. I'll read it. So if you haven't read the Dark Disciple, this actually probably gives a good recap of it. Okay. Asajj Ventress continued to work as a bounty hunter. This is during the Clone Wars later seasons. She continued to work as a bounty hunter, and eventually her paths crossed with the undercover Jedi Master named Quinlan Vos. Quinlan Vos on an unorthodox mission from the Jedi Council to assassinate Count Dooku. So let me pause there for a second. The Jedi Council, specifically Obi-Wan and Mace Windu, want to put an end to all this fighting. Millions of people thousands of people die every day in the galaxy because of these wars between the Separatists and the Republic. So they want to put an end to the war, and they think that the big end would be if Count Dooku is assassinated. It's not the Jedi way to just go out and assassinate one being. It's not the Jedi way at all. But because Quinlan's such a different Jedi, and because this could end the entire galaxy war in one life for millions of lives, seems to be a logical conclusion, the Jedi Council sends Quinlan Vos on a mission to go assassinate Dooku, but they know that he can't do it by himself. He's not powerful enough to kill Dooku. So they tell him to go get the help of Asajj Ventress. And that's how the two meet. Knowing that he needs Asajj to help in the task, the two meet. They become friends first. They go on a bunch of bounty hunting missions together. She doesn't know that he's a Jedi. She sort of pieces it together eventually. And then he actually reveals to her that he is a Jedi. She teaches him the ways of the dark side. A lot goes down. He sort of gets corrupted by the dark side. It's a lot of stuff. But the two fall in love eventually. And, oh, here it is. Asajj drains him in the dark side and gives him the power to defeat Dooku. But Quinlan completely falls to the dark side when he is captured by Count Dooku after the failed assassination attempt. Quinlan still intends to kill the Sith Lord, but works with him against the Republic. His new goal was to get close to him to find out more about his master, Darth Sidious, and ultimately assassinate him as well. So now Quinlan is in, and he's trying to assassinate both Dooku and Palpatine. Asajj Ventress reluctantly joins Quinlan at Dooku's side. But a choice for better. Dooku taunts Asajj, telling her that while Quinlan embraced the darkness, she had only flirted with it. She realizes that she has willingly left behind the life of anger and hatred, and she encourages Quinlan to do the same. In that moment, Asajj felt the light side of the Force flow through her, erasing her pain and fear. Dooku unleashed his Force lightning on Quinlan at the same time, and Asajj Ventress pushed him out of the way, taking the brunt of it in his place. Asajj's sacrifice brought Quinlan Vos back to the light side of the Force as he let go of his own hatred. Quinlan didn't finish his mission and allowed Dooku to escape because he wanted to save Asajj Ventress instead. Later, Obi-Wan credited Asajj with not just saving Quinlan, but also the entire Jedi Order from becoming the very thing that they fought against because of the assassination attempt. Obi-Wan Kenobi accompanied Quinlan Vos to lay Asajj to rest on the dark water of Dathomir, as Quinlan placed her in the pool, which is the opening scene of Tales of the Underworld. A glowing green mist began to rise. The otherworldly voices of the Night Sisters welcomed her sister home and offered her a chance to return to life, but with a steep price. And that price was to, of course, forego the love of Quinlan Vos. So that is the Dark Disciple story. Very plainly put into just this couple paragraphs. That's pretty much it. So the love that Quinlan and her shared was all to try to assassinate Count Dooku, and then Quinlan falls to the dark side, and she sacrifices himself to bring him back to the light. It's a great story. If you have not read it, I mean, it's on Audible. It's a great listen to. I've been listening to a lot of Star Wars books recently because Audible, they do an incredible job over there at Lucasfilm where they give you sound effects, they give you voices. It's like listening to an episode of the Clone Wars when you're reading this book. It's great. So yeah, that's the story. That's sort of how Asajj comes fully back to the light too. Yeah. Cooper, what's up? Says, yo, Mike, I'm late. That's okay. Was doing work with my grandfather to fix a sprinkler malfunction. Oh my God. That sounds horrible. Well, hope all is doing well. And ask your grandpa what's his favorite Star Wars movie. Dom with a very generous $10 holla says, hey, Mike and everybody. Hopping on for real quick. Sorry. Hopping on real quick with my dad. What's up, Dom's dad? How we doing? It's his 58th birthday. Can we get some happy birthdays to Dom's dad in the chat, please? 58th birthday. That's awesome. Happy birthday, Dom's dad. He's the one who got me into Star Wars as a kid. Nice. His name is Jerry. Jerry, happy birthday, Jerry. Absolutely. Happy birthday to the GOAT, Jerry. Okay. Happy birthday, DD, Dom's dad, Daredevil. Okay, let's keep it going, though, here. So we got some other stuff to get to. Oh, yeah, let's talk about this. So over the weekend, this happened. Give me a 1 into the chat if you were involved in this. If you were helping out with the greatness that happened over the weekend. Battlefront 2, The Resurgence Day, May 24th, will go down in legend in the Star Wars fandom. It might actually be the thing that got Battlefront 3 to happen. We streamed it for 4.5 hours on the gaming channel on Saturday night. So shout out to all. It was the biggest live stream on that channel by far. So shout out to you guys for showing up for that. But it's continued to hit these peaks. I mean, it almost doubled its previous peak. 18,500. The previous peak was 10,000 and change. 10,000, almost double what it was before. That's crazy. So, this was a lot of fun. If you're still playing it, keep on playing it. It's a blast. I mean, playing Battlefront 2. We got to play with a bunch of people who love Star Wars. We played with your pal Joe and John Groom. Shout out to you guys. It was a lot of fun. So, we'll probably be streaming it at some point this week as well. But that's the greatness. And it comes with good news. Battlefront 3 update sparks new hopes for the players. There might be hope for a third Battlefront game, after all. Matt's Helljom, sure, one of the developers who worked on both modern entries of the franchise, stated on a Reddit comment that many members of the team behind the games wants to work on a third installment, meaning we're getting the band back together. The comments arrive after Battlefront 2 gains plenty of popularity once again, almost a decade after the title was launched. To celebrate the release of The Last Jedi, players have been waiting for a new chapter for a long time. While Battlefront 2 is available to play on new consoles, developers' support and content updates were halted sooner than expected due to the widespread controversy caused by the game's launch. Still, the game still has its dedicated following of fans. And the prospect of a new console generation makes another installment more desirable for them. Also, crossplay and new characters and just better graphics, all of it. Here's what the developer had to say. Me, and having heard about the group of ex-colleagues, want to get the gang back together. I mean, this is just great news. Let's be honest, chat. There is no way that EA will ever post another thing on any of their accounts where it's not just filled with the comment section saying, we want Battlefront 3, make Battlefront 3, Battlefront 3, Battlefront 3. Even Star Wars official channels in Lucasfilm, everything they post is filled with Battlefront 3. Look at this. I sent this to myself today because it was just insane. Check this out. No, not that. Hang on. Check this out. EA just posted this thing.
I did it.
Split Fiction is coming to Switch 2. I don't know. Whatever. So this is the latest EA game, I'm guessing.
Did it.
Oh, it's so good. So this will happen forever. Forever until they make Battlefront 3. Literally forever. And it's awesome. It's so great. The Star Wars fandom coming together and doing something so great like this. This isn't hurting anybody. This isn't crapping on somebody else's opinion. This is just Star Wars fans coming together for one united goal, and that is to make a great Star Wars game happen. That, by the way, will make this company millions upon millions of dollars. So, yeah. This is the greatness of the Star Wars community right here. Sometimes we can be a little bit negative and crapping on people and crapping on stuff and doing some bad stuff. But usually, I like to think the majority of great Star Wars fans are like this. This isn't hurting anybody. This is us wanting something great and making it happen. Let's watch it again. Let's watch. And did it my way. Probably have to edit that whole thing out later for when YouTube copyright strikes me. But it was worth it. It was definitely worth it. It was definitely worth it. Yeah. I think it was worth it. You know, sometimes you just gotta have a little fun, you know? Yeah. Okay. So that was that. So Battlefront 3 is, I hope, in the works at this point. I mean, it's been weeks at this point where we've been just Battlefront 3, we want Battlefront 3. It's been so long and so enormous. Like, they're never going to post another post online that's not filled with Battlefront 3 posts in the comment section ever. So I can't wait for Battlefront 3. I mean, what else is there to say? It's got to happen. It's got to happen. This is the way. This is the way. Yeah. Okay. But moving on, let's get to this next thing. So we got 2 more things I want to get to here. The first thing, actually, let's do the Andor Season 2 thing first. So Andor Season 2, of course, being one of the greatest shows of all time, not Star Wars shows, one of the greatest shows of all time. The first ever show with 5 straight episodes on IMDb over 9.5 or more. First ever. It's going to get some nominations. So, Andor Season 2 Emmy submissions revealed for 23 categories. Take a look at this. Variety has an exclusive. So, the rebellion is back in full force. Variety has exclusively learned that Disney Plus has officially submitted the 2nd season of Andor, critically acclaimed Andor, for Emmy consideration for 23 categories. The Mouse House, nice, is aiming high, placing its flagship drama in the top tier races, including Outstanding Drama Series, and also revealing its episode sections for directing and writing submissions. Okay. Screenwriter Dan Gilroy, best known for penning the thriller Nightcrawler, has chosen episodes 9. Okay, yeah, so season 2, episode 9. Welcome to the Rebellion for his drama writing bit. Sure. Which will pit him against the scribe Mike White for The White Lotus and The Pit. Okay. Sure. At the same time, Helmer Janice Metz will compete in the drama directing category for episode 8, Who Are You? Facing off up against The Last of Us and Severance. That's pretty hard competition right there. But I will say, I'm very glad that episode 8 and episode 9 specifically, those 2 episodes, I mean, they're probably 2 of the greatest, if not the greatest, pieces of Star Wars content to ever exist. Like those 2 hours, whatever it is, 50 minutes, something like that. That hour and 45 of Star Wars content is just straight up peak. It's peak. I've been seeing some sort of complaints online about Andor Season 2, about how the first half of the season is a lot slower and it's not as good. Whatever. What are you going to do? To me, all that stuff, the first 6 episodes, is so much of just more setup for the Gorman Massacre, and that's why episode 8 and 9 are so good, because of the payoff of those first 6 episodes. But what are you going to do? Also, star Diego Luna, thank God, is also being submitted for as an executive producer, and is again being submitted for a lead drama actor for his portrayal as Cassian Andor. Who is he going up against? Does it say? No. How can us as Star Wars fans get Diego Luna to win this? Do we have that power? Like, I get this, like the voters. I don't know how the Emmys really work. I'm assuming there's some sort of voting system, but we don't have access to that, like the Academy votes for or whatever. But can we do the same thing that we're doing for Battlefront 3 for Cassian here? Can we get Diego Luna this award? He deserves it. Let's be honest. Okay. While not nominated for the first season of the show, Diego Luna's performance this time brings a more internal conflict and character evolution, an arc that Disney Plus hopes will resonate with the voters. Diego Luna will also be set up for supporting actor in a limited series consideration for his role as boxing coach Andy Lujan in Hulu's miniseries. Oh, La Machina. I didn't even know he was doing that. The supporting cast category features possible bids from Stellan Skarsgård and Kyle Soller. That is Luthen Rail and what's his last name? Cyril Khan. I couldn't think of his last name. Cyril Khan. Luthen and Cyril up for supporting actors. Now, honestly, I think it should be Luthen. As great as Cyril was in season 2, he dies in episode 8. So, like, there's a whole rest of the season without him. And I guess Luthen's not in season 2 as much as he was season 1. Yeah. I guess. Well, also, in the supporting actress category, it's a packed roster. Denise, who, of course, plays Dedra. Is it Adria or Adria? Not too sure. Bix. Faye? Who is Faye? Faye Marze. Elizabeth is Clea, and Genevieve is Mon Mothma. Who is Faye? Vel, maybe? Who? Chat? Who? Do we look? Should we look it up? Does somebody know in the chat? Somebody in the chat help me out. Who is this? Who is this? Faye is Vel? Okay, Vel. Okay. Okay. I don't know. Vel also kind of took a backseat in the second season. I mean, she's in the first 3 episodes, and then she's in the last 3. But she's barely in the middle 6. But okay. All right. Sure. Yeah. For sure. I mean, I don't even know. I can't even decide. I don't even know who else is up for these categories, but it should be either of these 2, and it should be any of these 5. Like, who else is really in contention here that has any chance of beating out Genevieve O'Reilly as Mon Mothma or Denise as Dedra Meero? Yeah, like, nobody. Nobody. Okay. In terms of guest star, so guest actor category, Disney Plus is banking on the performance of Ben Mendelsohn. There you go. I mean, his performance in season 2 is incredible. I didn't really think of him as a guest actor, but sure. Who reprised his role as Orson Krennic in episode 11. And Forrest Whitaker, Forrest Whitaker was kind of a guest star in this show. I thought Saw Gerrera would have a way bigger role in season 2. He didn't. We got the explanation as to why he's crazy. Watched Rogue One the other day, by the way, and it might be the greatest Star Wars movie of all time. I can't put it above Revenge of the Sith just because Revenge of the Sith is just greatness. I mean, the 2 are very neck and neck. I think it has surpassed The Empire Strikes Back for me. Like, it just has. I think Rogue One is now my second favorite movie of all time. But I will say that Andor succeeded in the goal of making Rogue One even better. And I actually think it might make the original trilogy even better too, which is saying something. It's crazy. But yes, Saw Gerrera is insane, like absolutely lost his mind in Rogue One. And Andor season 2 explains why that is. Of course, with the Rhydonium. Yeah. Also, Benjamin Bratt is up for this one too because he's Bail Organa. There you go. Oh, wait, what? Who is this? Episode 6. What a festive evening. Who is this, chat? Should we look it up? Let's look it up. Oh, Cinta. Okay. Cinta's coming in as a guest. Sure. Why not? Following the series' strong Emmy debut, earning 8 nominations in 2023, including drama series director for Benjamin Caron and writing nods for Tony Gilroy, Disney Plus aims to expand its tally this year. And with Andor standing as the most critically acclaimed series in the Star Wars portfolio, in its final season, the show deepens its emotional stakes, culminating in events leading directly into Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Actually, tell me in the chat, have you gone on to watch Rogue One since Andor Season 2 ended? Because if you have not, it sounds crazy, but it literally has become even better as just a movie now that Andor Season 2 is over. It makes Cassian's character so much better. It makes the backstory to that entire movie so much better. It's wild. Shirley Clea is up for a guest one. No, she's up for the main actress because she's in the show a lot more than others. Yeah. So now let's ask the question: where does Rogue One rank amongst Star Wars films for you? Because for me now it sits number 2. Watching it the other day is some of the most fun I've ever had watching Star Wars. Only Revenge of the Sith can top that And that's because Revenge of the Sith from start to finish is just a big old battle scene. I mean, it's the opening battle scene on Coruscant. You got Dooku versus Obi-Wan and Anakin, and he chops off his head. Then you have Obi-Wan versus Grievous, Yoda versus Palpatine, Anakin versus Obi-Wan, and of course Order 66. Like, it's just endless awesomeness. So where does Rogue One rank for you? What do we think, Chad? Actually, should we pull this up somewhere in the top 3? Let's pull this up. Why not? By the way, do you think that Asajj Ventress will get her own show? 61% of you say yes. Let's pull this up. Is Rogue One a top 3 Star Wars movie? Just in your own opinion. Just in your opinion. This is just a fun opinion-based poll. More gullet. Save the dream. Yeah. Revolution is not for the same. Saw's barely in season 2, but he drops like the greatest lines. Revolution is not for the same. Boom! He gives the greatest boom. Saw Gerrera gives that one big boom. Yes, it hits so much harder. It's great revisiting Rogue One. Well, what some fans are actually complaining about online is that it almost undermines the character of Jyn Erso. I completely disagree. I don't see Rogue One as Andor Season 3. Like, I do see Ahsoka as Rebel Season 5, but I don't see Rogue One as Andor Season 3. Because Rogue One's almost its own story. Yes, Andor is there, and he has this full backstory, and obviously the Rebellion has a whole backstory now, but it's still Jyn Erso's story. It's Galen Erso, her father. It's a father-daughter sort of relationship there, and it's her story. Yes, Cassian's a main character in that story, but it's still Jyn Erso's story. Yeah. By the way, this poll has 81% of you saying yes, it's top 3 Star Wars movie. That's crazy. Think about that for a second. Think about all the times you've heard Disney ruined Star Wars. Disney Star Wars isn't canon. Disney can't make good Star Wars. Any variation of that sentence. And yet, Rogue One, which is made by Disney, just reminding you, made by Disney, to at least 80% of us in the chat today, is a top 3 movie. That's crazy. Mike, can I get a Borg Gullet will know the truth? Borg Gullet will know the truth. Borg Gullet. I just love the way he says, Borg Gullet. Oh, nobody noticed it yet. Check this out. One of my friends gave me this. It's a Luke Skywalker. Focus on that, not me. Focus on the thing. Yeah, there we go. Luke Skywalker embedded on a coin, a dollar coin. That's the back of it. On a dollar coin. It's this is a certificate of limited edition. I hereby certify that this Star Wars trademarked coin, which accompanies this documentation, is limited edition out of 10,000. Then it goes on to say some other stuff. It's from 1995. Pretty crazy. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Jyn is like Namek. We grow to love them, and then they're gone within one arc, but left everlasting impact. Yeah. What was great about the finale, too, of going back to Andor Season 2, is that we got to hear Nemek's manifesto one more time. Just one more time. Yeah. Attack of the Clones is your second favorite? Nice. I think Attack of the Clones is severely underrated. Like, it gets put in the bottom of everybody's list, which is insane, or towards the bottom at least, which is insane. I think a lot of people don't like the lovey-dovey stuff with Anakin and Padme on Naboo, but I mean, yeah, I like me some romance. Plus, how can you not love the Camino stuff with with Dooku capturing Obi-Wan and telling him that there's a Sith Lord and all that stuff. Can I get some good cuts all orders in the chat, please? Bumpa! Mr. Slash X, what's up? Okay. Yeah, let's get to this. So this is the weirdest news of the day, I think. This is probably the weirdest news of the day. Star Wars fan site is used by the CIA to covert communications with spies overseas. Who had this on their bingo card for 2025, chat? Anybody? I don't think so. In what is perhaps the most bizarre Star Wars news for a while, it has been revealed that fan sites, Star Wars fan sites for the franchise, were cover-ups for CIA covert communications. In a world that is so focused on news concerning upcoming Star Wars movies, this came as a big surprise. Gone are the days of searching for news about the Mandalorian and Grogu cast, replaced by Star Wars sites online being uncovered by CIA hotspots for agents trying to communicate across the world. What? This is insane. So it talks about why. First question stems from this admittedly peculiar piece of news is why the CIA felt they needed to run a Star Wars website in the first place. As alluded to, it was to covertly communicate with agents overseas and swap information on different countries around the world. After all, the Central Intelligence Agency needs, well, intelligence on the myriad of things rather than risking being tracked with usual transmission techniques. A Star Wars fan forum becomes a bizarre cover-up. Not quite the news I thought we were going to get today. Just didn't see it coming. Didn't see it coming. Nah. Didn't see it coming. KG in the chat says, the romance in Attack of the Clones was cringe. The Droid Factory was cringe. And Geonosius was cringe. Jeez, easy for me to say. I got to back Attack of the Clones here, okay? Okay. My cousin, actually, just started watching Andor, as I told him to, because it's fantastic. And he said the first 3 episodes are cringy. And I said, yeah. I mean, isn't all Star Wars? Isn't that the design of Star Wars in the first place? Isn't that why we love it so? Chat? Yeah. Yeah. I still haven't watched A New Hope yet. I gotta go. Yeah, I've watched Rogue One. I gotta watch A New Hope. Indeed. By the way, still 80% of you guys in the chat say that it is a top 3 movie, which is wild. Wild. Okay. I do love the clones. Yeah, the clones are great. They are great. Denying the cyborg romance is disrespectful. What? I hate sand. Of course, it's rough. It gets everywhere. That's how do you think me and Sam got together? I went up to her and I was like, oh, we're at a beach. Okay? Let me paint the picture. We're at a beach. And I walk up to her and I go, I hate sand. It's coarse. It's rough. Gets everywhere. And she said, she looked at me straight in the eyes and she goes, yes. That's all she said. She just said yes. She's never said another word to me since that day. That was 6.5 years ago. But it worked. Anakin has Riz that's just on a whole nother level. Like it's a different galaxy of Riz. Okay? So don't come in here and start talking about Anakin Skywalker's romance, okay? It's great. Great. Yeah. How long do you think it'll take for the Eggs channel to hit 1 million subscribers? Well, if we all subscribe to it right now, let me send it over. If we all subscribe to it right now, then maybe not that long. Here, let me send the link in the chat. Let me send this link really quickly. Copy. Paste. Boom. There you go. If everybody goes and subscribes to it, we'll be at 1 million before you know it. But yes, you'll never find out what the egg stands for until we hit 1 million subscribers. I got bad news for you, though. We so inconsistently post on that channel that we just hit 50 subscribers. Pretty solid. But we just celebrated the 5-year birthday of the Eggs channel. So yeah, if that math is mathing, actually can't even do that math. Somebody do that math for me. If it takes 5 years to get to 50 subscribers, how many years will it take to get to 1 million? Actually, it's pretty simple math, right? It's only 10 subscribers a year. So 1 million divided by 10 would be 10,000. So 10,000 years. In 10,000 years, we'll hit 1 million subscribers on the Eggs gaming channel. Yeah. There you go. Oh, is it 100,000 years? Oh, I did the math wrong. Yeah, I think you're right. It's 100,000 years. Yeah, I think you're right. Okay. So just a little bit longer. Just patience, you know? You gotta learn the patience. You gotta learn patience. Just checking my list over here to see if we got to everything. Oh, this is kind of a little fun thing that I wanted to do. Let's do this. So we talked about a lot of different things today, but of those things, let's talk about this. 3 years ago today, on this day 3 years ago, does anybody know what happened? Actually, it might have been yesterday, 3 years ago, but I'm not sure. Either yesterday or today, 3 years ago. Does anybody know what happened? Does anybody know what happened? If anybody guesses this, I'll be very impressed. Who wants the gold sticker of the day? Who wants the gold star? Anybody? 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 I can almost hear you guys all frantically is the word I was looking for. Frantically Googling what happened 3 years ago today. The Acolyte was announced? No. Ahsoka previews? No. Solo? Maybe, but not what I was thinking. No, it wouldn't have been 3 years ago, no. Obi-Wan? Maybe. What else happened 3 years ago today? Did Obi-Wan premiere 3 years ago today? Maybe. But no, that's not what I'm thinking of. Metallica released their Groove Rock album? Oh. No. You begun your channel? No. Good guess, though. It wasn't close at all, but no, good guess, though. The channel is almost 5 years old. This is by the end of this year, because it's in November when I made the channel, it'll be 5 years. None of you are going to guess it. We're just going to do it anyway. The Andor Season 1 first ever trailer dropped. It's only 1 minute 50 seconds, so let's watch it. Why not? Let's see what the Andor first ever trailer looked like. I don't even know what this is, so I mean, I know what it is, but I don't know what the first trailer looks like. Let's check it out. Wait. 50 Thunder just said, Jerry turned 55. That is so great. Dom's dad, Jerry, turned 55. Yes, that is exactly what happened 3 years ago. That is so awesome. Okay.
so proud of themselves. So fat and satisfied.
They're everywhere. They're watching me now.
Soon enough, these days will end. There will be no rules going forward.
People are standing up. That's what a reckoning sounds like.
It did not stream August 31st. It did get delayed, I believe. But yeah, it got delayed till like mid-September. Watching that trailer is so different now that you've seen season 2 and you've seen the entire story. But that little did we know 3 years ago that we were in for a crazy ride with the Andor series. Yeah. Critically acclaimed. Yeah. Well, I don't know if we got to everything today, but we certainly tried. That's for damn sure. We certainly did try. I'm going to end this poll. Let's see where it's at. Do you think Rogue One is a top 3 Star Wars movie? 81% of you say yes. That's absolutely insane. Oh my, Jordan Rennie with another $5. Oh, holy crap. Where is it? Why is it not showing up on this other screen? Why is it not showing up over here? Please show up again. Oh, there it is. I bet nobody could predict how any of those new characters' stories arc were going to go back then. No, I definitely doubt you could have. Yeah, there's no way. I mean, watching that trailer, with the knowledge we know now, of course, we know where all those characters go, but yeah, you would never know. You would never have any clue. That's awesome. Okay, well, with that, I do have to get on out of here. So, Mando Trilogy seems a lot more likely today than it did yesterday. That's for damn sure. An Asajj Ventress show, possibly, or at least her involvement in the Maul series will be great if that's what's happening. And Nick and Colton, his father, are teaming up for a possible, or not possible, they're in early development for a new Star Wars Disney Plus series. The future is bright. But as I said at the beginning of this live stream, there's no better time to be a Star Wars fan than right this second. We are living on this crazy high of the Battlefront Resurgence Day and May the 4th and Tales of the Underworld and Andor Season 2 with the hype of Mandalorian and Grogu next year and all these other projects coming. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. And there's no better place to be than the people who love Star Wars. Right? But if you are not yet in the Discord, there's a link in the description below to a Discord called The People Who Love Star Wars. Go join it immediately. Immediately. And yeah, I'll see you guys on Thursday's live stream. And of course, every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday for the rest of your lives. We'll be live here. And yeah. So until then, smash a freaking like on this stream if you have not already. How many likes do we have, chat? How many likes do we have? Am I going to be upset? That's not too bad. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. But until next time, may the Force be with you. Always. Oh, yeah. What a great stream. What a great show. Happy birthday to Jerry. Shout out to Jerry, the big 5'8". The big old 5'8". Gotta love it. Yeah. No, the giveaway's not on Thursday. It's on Saturday because there's 31 days in May. My birthday's Friday the 30th. So that would mean that Saturday's the 31st. And that would be the last day of the month. So giveaway's on Thursday. On Saturday. But this was a great live stream. Some of the most fun I've ever had in a live stream. This was great. And yeah, keep those Battlefront 3 comments going. Hope you have a great rest of your evening, great rest of your lives, and good night, everybody.